So if you think about it, you spent the majority of your life addicted to this sort of stuff right here. Women, corn hub, you may be gaming weed. You spent most of your life thinking this stuff was probably normal. Alcohol and stuff like that. And although those things ain't crazy in small quantities, for example, I still talk to women. Although I am trying to settle down and just find one. I drink maybe every other weekend socially. Never by myself. Although these things are generally harmful to your goals in small quantities, they don't really affect you that much. But you spent the majority of your life doing this stuff on a regular basis, thinking that it's normal, thinking that it's okay, until you started to pursue greatness, until you started to pursue goals. And then you will start coming across YouTube channels like mine, probably YouTube channels that are bigger than mine, maybe some that are even smaller than mine too. You come across these sorts of channels and you see that you want to get great, you become great, chase greatness, and you become conscious of the things that trespass and sin against your goal. You become conscious of the sin. You become conscious of this stuff. And just a disclaimer, this isn't a spiritual religious channel, but with this specific topic, I'm going to get fairly spiritual, fairly religious in this channel, just a disclaimer. But you become conscious of this stuff. And as a result, now you're fighting against these things. And so you may have uttered the words or may have heard it, I fell off. I fell off, bro. I hear it all the time. And it's normally related to any of these 4, sometimes 5 things. And remember, I had a friend and he was really strong. He competed with me like in strength, pretty much. He was like, we were neck and neck, and he was even a little bit stronger than me on bench press, which is crazy. And I recently saw him and he just fell into alcoholism. He fell into alcoholism and he said he fell off. And so what happens is these sorts of people, you will go online and you will find stuff online to improve the outcome of this goal by checking your macros, getting the optimal workout routine, getting the optimal sleep patterns, and finding all these different things to add into your life, to make it better, to make achieving this goal more likely. However, it's not what you're doing that's wrong. It's not what you've added into your life to achieve greatness. That's the problem. It's what you haven't let go of. It's the stuff here that you're still clinging onto that's causing you to not achieve greatness that you want to achieve. Great people aren't great because they do more stuff. They're great because they do less. Because I started this channel, I hang out with friends less. I go out less. You have to make your life simpler and you have to let go of things. And the truth is that you make this decision to hold on to this every single day. Every single day you have the decision to let go and surrender it, but you make this decision every single day. I recently saw a quote that's really changed my perspective on success in general. And it was really under a quote under a YouTube video related to some educational stuff I was watching for my niche and whatnot. And it said, success isn't bought or achieved. It's actually rented. Success is rented, and rent is due every single day. That's the quote that I saw. And it really struck me. It made me realize, wow, every single day you have to pay rent to success. You were doing good for maybe a couple days, maybe even weeks, maybe months, maybe even a year. You maybe even did good for a year. But one day you stopped paying rent to success. It was one day that you stopped paying rent to success. And you did that not by not doing what you were supposed to do, but by not letting go of the shit that you were supposed to let go of. But here's the funny thing. What made you fall off wasn't that only that you forgot to pay rent for a day, but you stopped paying rent. You listen to the voice in your head that reaffirms that you don't deserve the success and the greatness that you want because of what you did. You relapsed off of something, and you listen to this voice that says, see, you always fail. See, you always got to do this to get off. You don't really deserve to have this sort of success. See, you're not really meant for this. You're just not this kind of person. That's a lie from the evil one. You're just not this kind of person. You just ain't supposed to have this shit. Because look at what your emotions driven you to do. These emotions, they're just always gonna be here. You've been battling me for years and I'm still here. Maybe you're just this kind of person. Maybe you are just supposed to be addicted to drugs. Maybe you are supposed to be addicted to porn. That's just kind of what you are. Look at what you did. You just did it. You don't go to the gym. Look at what you did. Meanwhile, you forgot that You've been addicted to this stuff for 90% of your life, but you just had a 7-day streak of you going to the gym. You've been consistent for 2 weeks. You didn't quit for 3 days. You stopped doing the shit that you're not supposed to be doing for an hour. You made progress. All that stuff goes out the window when you relapse and you do what you're not supposed to do. And then these thoughts start to negatively reinforce themselves. And so I came across a term in Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16. And it says, the righteous man will fall 7 times, but will get up. Isn't that kind of interesting? The righteous man will fall 7 times, but will get up. But the wicked stay down after turmoil. That's probably not the exact same wording, but that's the gist of it. The righteous aren't the ones who don't do this stuff. They learn to quit this stuff eventually, but they fall down every single time. They fall down, but then they rise again, and then they achieve greatness. And I'm just gonna give a biblical analogy because if you are familiar with my channel, you know this is stuff that I do in my channel pretty often because I've spent a lot of time in church in my youth. And although I don't go anymore, it's still something that just is like clockwork in my mind. But if you think about it, Christ didn't avoid death. Christ didn't avoid death. He didn't not die, he died. He died and then he resurrected. He died and he resurrected, and that's what made him great. It wasn't the miracles. It wasn't the walking on water. It wasn't him turning water into wine. No one, all of Judea and all of them, they didn't acknowledge him even when he did this stuff. It was after he rose again and resurrected. That's when he received greatness, and that's when the gospel spread across Samaria and the ends of the earth. It was after the resurrection. What does this tell you? It's not you avoiding this stuff. It's you getting up after you do it. If you're the fat guy who keeps binge eating on Oreos because you have trauma because you were molested as a kid, but then you get the fuck back up and you pick up the fucking weights and you get into your calorie deficit and you go hard because you don't want to be fat anymore. You want to be strong to defend yourself, to defend your children, to defend your wife and your kids. You're righteous. If you're the guy who's skinny and malnourished because you grew up malnourished as a kid because your parents didn't take good care of you, or you're addicted to drugs because you're dealing with trauma, but then you still eat and go hard in the gym after a day of falling off, you're righteous. God doesn't see you fall and then think, oh, okay, man, he's not the one. No, he's literally waiting for you to get back up. And I don't see God as just a Christian God. I see it as the all-encompassing universe of good. If you don't believe in God, think of it like that. Like it's just the all-encompassing image of goodness. It's the thing that makes people rich. It's the thing that makes people buff. It's the thing that makes you strong and makes you look aesthetic. Me getting these gains naturally was a gift from God. It was a gift from the goodness of the universe in which I traded pain. I got pain. I had to pay with pain to get to this point. Do you think that I didn't fall off? You think I didn't do any of these things? Every single one of these things on this board, I did it. I did it 10 times and I did it 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times. I did it. I died. I fell off 1,000 times. But I rose again 1,001 times. That's why I have this fucking body. Even though I felt like shit, I still hit the gym. I still did what I was supposed to do. You have been doing this stuff for 90% of your life, bro. And you think you're not supposed to fall. And then the evil one, the image of evil, the aiming downwards of reality, the negative pole of reality, Satan, the evil one is going to tell you, you deserve it. He's going to make you think. His goal isn't to make you do this stuff. His goal is to make you do this stuff and to stay dead. It's to stay dead. So not only is he gonna make you do this shit, but he gonna make you stay dead too. And this doesn't mean that you should do this and keep rising and do this and go back and forth. You should quit this stuff. You should change your identity completely. You should change your identity completely. Become a person who doesn't even care for this stuff anymore. I used to struggle with weed. I used to smoke weed every single day. Even in some of my early, like my first videos, I was still smoking weed. Like if you go to my first 5 videos, I may have been high in one of them. Genuinely. I don't even think about that stuff no more because I know that I'm not the productive powerhouse that I am now when I do this stuff. Same with women. I just told a woman today that I can't see her because I'm doing this. A girl just tried to meet up with me. Has a whole leg tattoo and everything, looking good. I ain't even finna see her. But do you not think that I've fallen before? You're gonna fall over and over and over and over again. But then you rise again and you get back up. That's the righteous. The righteous are the rich. The righteous are the powerful. The righteous are the people that strengthen themselves and do discipline. They are the disciplined. Anything that takes discipline in this world comes from righteousness. It's the exact same thing. People who are undisciplined are wicked. They are wicked people. Falling off is a part of the journey. It's a shit test. It's a shit test. If any of you guys are familiar with dating and familiar with women, you will know that if you talk to a woman, you're going to get shit tested. I was talking to a woman the other day, very feminine, very beautiful. I got shit tested and I passed. Now I'm gonna see her this Saturday. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. And some of you guys who are corny and don't take yourself seriously may be watching this video and be thinking, since you have low self-esteem, you may be thinking, oh man, it's just the gym. It's not that deep. Like, why is he going this deep with it? It is that deep. You wanna know why? Because it's your goal. It's your goal. You decided to get fit. You decided to build your body. You're tired of watching your kids play and you can't keep up with them. You're tired of trying to take a piss and you can't see your meat past your stomach. You're tired of looking in the mirror and knowing that if another man with an average build or slightly stronger than you wanted to take advantage of you or take advantage of your stuff or take something from you by force, you couldn't do nothing about it. It was your goal. To be strong, to look aesthetic, to be able to defend your girlfriend is your goal. You chose it. Meaning that when you don't fulfill it, when you don't stick to your goal, your word, you break your own word. You break your own promises to yourself. It's not just about fitness. It's you broke your own promises to yourself. That's why this is a big deal. And every time you break promises to yourself, you poison your soul. You actually poison your soul. There's a quote from a psychologist. I forgot his name, man. I keep reading this stuff and not writing it down. But it's discipline is like nourishment to the soul. It's like the immune system of the soul. It's discipline. Doing the hard work when you don't feel like it is genuinely the immune system for your spirit and your soul. Going on a dopamine detox and taking care of your mental health, it's all from God. Taking care of your mindset, take care of your body, it's all from the righteous element of reality. It's all coming from the aim upwards. It's coming from the Christ-like image. That's what it's all. It's the immune system for your body. You draw on that power through discipline, through taking care of your mental health, through becoming a better person. When you look at people who are the scum of the earth, the rapists, the killers, the pedophiles, look at their bodies. Look at how they treat themselves. They don't take care of themselves. They're undisciplined people. They have rotting teeth. Their skin is foul. They're ugly. They mar their bodies. Fitness isn't just about fitness. It's about you becoming a better person and having a cleaner soul. So if you fall off, how can you get back up? How can you get back on the horse? Well, I'm gonna tell you 3 main keys that you need to implement to get back up after you fall off. Number 1 is to fix your mental health. Don't just focus on quitting these habits. You do need to quit these habits, but don't just focus on them. You need to implement mindfulness. So meditation, you need to learn how to be grateful. So gratitude journaling, you need to find a way to get exercise daily. And if you want to learn how to do that, you should check out my other video called, it's about making habits and making like a certain workout a habit. I'll link it in this video. Reading, you need to read, you need to learn every single day. You need to practice reading because reading is also a form of easing your brain and making your brain healthier. By meditating daily and then writing out sentences of gratitude, short sentences, even just 1 sentence a day of gratitude and finding something to be grateful for, it can make you a happier person. It'll make you less apt to fall victim to this shit right here, to falling victim to all these evil habits that are corrupting your soul. And then training every single day, running. Even if you go on a short run or you do just even a push-up, even if you do a single push-up on the ground every day, mark that off. Make it a habit. And with that, detox from digital garbage. Get off social media. Stop watching so much social media. The only stuff that you should really be watching is stuff like this, with educational content, stuff that can actually aid your life. Stop watching Hoodville stuff. Stop watching all that stuff online, because even occasionally I fall victim to these Instagram reels and it makes me a lazier person with these reels and these TikToks and stuff like that. And it makes me fall into these things that make me go down on my goals. Because I've been consistent for 10 years. This stuff shouldn't affect me, but it still does. Even after 10 years of consistency, it still affects me. And then also be social. Have a social life, like learn to talk to people. Having a social life can also help with your mental health and make you a more consistent person with your goals. Your goals will eventually start to excite you. So that whole thing is the first key. That's the first key. Doing those habits right there, that's the first key. The second key is making a schedule. When you have a schedule and you dock out your days and you become more consistent with it, you can be more intentional with your time, because a lot of times people fall into these sorts of habits because they don't know what to do with themselves. they simply just have no structure in their day. If you don't have any structure in your day, you probably try and just leave it up for grabs what it is that you want to do. And the evil one, the devil, uses that as a foothold to gain access to your mind and to make you fall victim to these vices and all these different things that make you lazier with your goals, whether it's eating junk food or falling into something or coping with trauma or whatever. Instead of facing your trauma head on with a docked schedule, you're gonna start coping and scrolling and fapping and eating junk food and doing all these different things. So make a schedule. And in my course, I actually go through this because people don't know how to make a proper schedule. Like, I have my schedule up here. If I might actually just move it. Like, I got my, shoot, and I got my schedule like right there. I got my schedule right there. And I try and follow it to a T every single day, and it's making me a better person every single day. And the third thing is be patient with your transformation. That's just be patient. You're gonna fall off. I recently was on a very long streak of doing really good, and then I started to slowly dip, and I tried to fight it, and then I fell off. And I came across this message right here, and it made me realize that shit don't matter. I'm immortal. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm just gonna resurrect and become great. That's it. That's it. Because we're all made in the image of God. What did God do? He resurrected. So can you. So do it. Get back onto your goals. Stop falling off. We all suffer the fall. That's why we're here. The fall off. We all suffer the fall, but we're supposed to rise again. That's our image. That's what we do. So that's it for the video, guys. Sorry for the long rant. I get passionate about this stuff, but if you fuck with that, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and click on this video. My course, top link in the description. And I also have my Instagram in the description as well. If you want to ask me any fitness questions or just get some motivation or some mindset or mental health tips, you can hit me up on there, and you even have a chance for me to talk about it on this channel. With that being said, you have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.